the jury, the composition of the jury was 11 white jurors, 1 black juror, 3 alternates, all of them white. Glenn County is 27% black. Now, also, the composition in terms of male, female, 9 white women on that jury. So the reason I bring that up is to talk a little bit about the strategy of the defense. They really did not have a leg to stand on legally. There was literally nothing, that they had. These men were guilty of sin. There was no way around it. But what they tried to do was demonize Ahmaud Arbery and use fear tactics. Even the woman who made the comment about him running with no socks and having dirty toenails. Them always injecting race. And the prosecution stayed away from race, even though the McMichaels had called Ahmaud Arbery by a racial epithet. Why? Because they realized that if they made this racial or seemed political, then they could get an acquittal. And that's terrifying that they couldn't even inject something that was, I think, germane to the case, that they had to stay away from it.
It's possible. And
say, we're just going to go on this particular evidence. And they were trying to scare the jury.
But here's
this guy's running through your neighborhood. How would you feel about that?
Here's the thing, though. Like, I think there's a lot of people with egg on their face right now who were inappropriately making racial assumptions about the jury when it came to what the outcome of this case could be. And like, oh, he's gonna get off. There's 11 white jurors, only 1 black juror, as if the color of their skin was going to dictate the outcome of the case, which I think is very dangerous. And I think a lot of people should be issuing apologies now.
No, I don't think anybody did that like though, that. Vince.
I mean, come on, you see it all over the place. How many pieces have you seen where
people were skeptical?
Wait, wait 1 second. Wait, let me make a couple points here. How many pieces have you seen in the press? How many commentators have you seen who made a big deal about the racial composition of the jury as if that was determinative? A lot.
But that was important, Vince.
Why? Why was it important?
Because it's 27% black in that area.
But who cares?
And there's no black jurors. And they eliminated all these potential black people on a jury for a reason. That's what people were saying.
Would a mostly black jury have come up with a different outcome on the basis of their skin?
No, but it would have been more representative of the community. Glenn County is 27% black. And you think that the defense, that they eliminated jurors and made a jury with only 1 black person, you think that was just, as a matter of fact, the judge, this isn't stuff that people are making up. The judge said it. The judge
and I think that
there was racial discrimination in the selection.
I think those assumptions are juvenile. And what I mean by that is, I don't disagree. I'm sure the defense thought in their head, well, maybe the racial composition will work to our advantage.
And that's all anybody's ever said.
And I know that the judge had that criticism. That said, I think that there's this hang up around race that's not reflective of reality. Like, people, when presented, I think by and large, with exceptions, people like the McMichaels are the exception here. But the rule in America is that people are fundamentally decent. If they're pulled into a jury, they're going to assess the facts as they're presented, especially if the lawyers can make a good case in front of them. They'll be given jury instructions on what the law are, and they have to render a verdict. And hopefully that's done without any outside pressure, that you've got a jury that can assess these situations. So what I'm looking at is 2 highly publicized cases over the course of the past few weeks. And in both cases, all but 1 of the jurors was black. And in both cases, the media all but 1 of the jurors was white, or not black, I guess I should say. One black juror in both cases, the Rittenhouse case and the case of the McMichaels and this guy, Roddy Bryan. And in both cases, the media made a huge deal out of the racial composition of the jury. And in both cases, I think you and I both agree, based on how we saw from the outside, is that the juries came to the right conclusion and their skin color was irrelevant to that fact. And I just think that it's a moment where we should reflect on it and be like, that's a fantastic thing. And it's another sign that maybe all of the concern trolling about the racial composition of a jury is counterproductive and not a useful exercise of analysis. It's like, I don't know what any, it's not, it really comes down to, do they have critical thinking skills? Yes or no? That's really the only question that matters.